Welcome to my reusable face wipe sew along. First you want to take some toweling. This was just a brand new towel that I picked up in a charity shop with its label still on, and you just want to cut that down to squares 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches and cut out as many as you want to make. And then you want some fabric for the other side, and I use this lovely double gauze muslin, so again cut out as many squares as you like, 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. Then just pin or clip those right sides together and just make a mark where you're not going to sew, and then you're just going to sew all the way around the edges with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, making sure that you start and stop leaving that gap in the bottom. In terms of fabrics you can use, I've done these with 100% cotton as well instead of where I'm using the muslin this time, and that works really well because you can get seasonal cottons and they're quite nice if you're batching them up and giving them as gifts. But I do like this toweling and gauze combo because I find it really practical and I do use both sides of it. Anyway, you want to sew round and then just make sure you do a back stitch at the beginning and the end, leaving that gap for you to be able to turn the whole thing right side out. Once you've done that, you want to clip off the corners to reduce bulk, trim any loose edges, and then turn it the right side out using your fingers, and you can get a chopstick just to poke out those corners. And once you've done that, you want to take it to the iron and give it a good press, and the hole that you've left at the bottom, just iron that so that it's tucked inside, so that it makes it easier when you're going to come back to the sewing machine and top stitch it. And now, as you can see, what I'm doing here, I'm using crochet hooks, quite handy because of the muslin, the way it's kind of stretches as you sew it. You just want to do a nice neat top stitch right round, and then I actually do 2 lines of top stitch because I think it just looks really nice and neat. And there you have it. It will look something like this, and then you just want to give the whole thing another press, and then you can make up maybe 6 of them, and you can keep them obviously for yourself, or you can pack them up with some smellies and give them as gifts.